All right, what's going on, guys? So today we're going to talk about market psychology. And the reason that I want to focus on the market psychology is because that is the basis, core foundation of everything that you're going to do while you're inside the market. As you can see, it says coreharmonics.org right there. And the reason for that is because I have a consultancy agency and I go into various different markets. And by market, I mean niches, industries. I can consult on any playing field. As long as you have a problem, I can help you find the solution. If you have a chaos, I can help you find an order. So, this one specifically is just for market psychology because psychology is the foundation, the building blocks of what you're going to do when you're inside the market. And if you don't have it in order, that means it's in chaos. And if it's in chaos, it's going to reflect into your results. And if it reflects into your results, you're not going to be as profitable as you could be. The problem here is not the market. The problem is you. If you are not profitable in the market, if you are not consistent in the market, and you can be consistent in the market before you become profitable, and that's what I suggest. That's the direction that I have taken. Is I once went into the market and said, "Hey, let's just go in the live markets and let's figure it out." And that cost me around $60,000 or more to do it that way. But here's the thing, you don't have to do that. You can actually go into a demo market, get the psychology down, get the boundaries that you're setting for yourself down so that you do not sabotage yourself while you're in the market, because that is the reason that you take the loss. That is the reason that you don't get the results that you are looking for while you're in the market. It's because you don't have those boundaries set for you. You don't have the rules set for you. So the psychology is the main focal point for what I do when I am consulting someone who is in the financial markets, who is either a struggling trader or a new trader. It doesn't matter whichever one it is, because the same principles play out no matter what it is, and you'll get the same result. So I'm not here to teach you a strategy. I am here to show you how every strategy can work for you if you have the right rules for yourself while you're in the market. All right, let's get into this. All right, so the content that we're going to go over today, it's just a sneak peek. We're not going to go into the depth of everything that I go over while I'm working with someone one-on-one, because every single person is different. The actions that they take in, the traumas that they've experienced while they're in the market, it's different. You had different choices at different times, so therefore you can't get, it's not a one size fits all, or fits all, I should say. Excuse me. So we're going to go over market operation. We're going to go over market fuel, the market masks, the market risk, trusting your trade, impulsivity and inducement, and patience. So let's just dig right into it. There's no reason to sit here and talk about all of this. First, before we go in there, we're going to talk about me. One thing about me, hi, I'm Maya, and I like to align with everything that I do in a peaceful and organized manner. If chaos is involved in the foundation of something, you can bet it will crumble, and I won't be a part of it. I watch it happen too many times. And the thing that I do with Core Harmonics and the consultancy agency is making sure that people's foundations are rock solid instead of a house of cards, that when the wind blows or the earth shakes, it doesn't just fall apart. They can withstand whatever comes their way, and they can keep building upon it, even while they're learning the lessons that they have to learn while they're going through these processes, because process happens when you're trying to progress in life. And I got into this industry to have time freedom so that I could be with my family and do the things that were actually my soul's calling, because I'm not in finance and I'm not in Forex or anything else that I'm in because I just want to be in it or because I want money. I don't care about the money. The money is just a byproduct of doing what I love. And one of the things that I did early on was I got into it. I made a system work for someone who actually showed me his system. He had been working on it for a while. Within my first couple weeks in the market, ever seeing a chart, I made his system work for him. And then I started to train and have live trading sessions with people. And I left the market multiple times, not because I didn't like the market, but because I wanted to make sure that this was what I was supposed to be doing. A lot of times we get into things and we do it because we want it, because our flesh wants it, because it was alluring, because something enticed us to get into it. But I didn't want that to be the reason that I got into something, for me to get, 10, 15, 20 years down the road and realize that I built my entire life based upon an illusion that my flesh was presenting to me. And I wanted it to be something that was rock solid. I didn't want that house of cards. So I left the market. My husband left the market. We left for actually 3 years, and we kept like just tossing it out to see if it would come back. Because one thing that we know is that whatever is meant for us, we can't force it away. And whatever is not meant for us, we can't force it to stay. So if we just let go of everything and see what comes back, we can tell what's actually meant to be there. And then knowing our own resonant vibration inside of ourselves of what we feel like on a vibrational level, we can tell if it's meant to truly be there or not, if it's in alignment with the path, the narrow path that we're walking. So the time freedom that I was looking for, it actually translates into how I view and trade the market. And it also was my goal, and has always been my goal, to trade as little as possible while maximizing my ROI. When I got in, I said, you know what, I'm going to trade at, my goal is to make what I need in a month in one trading session, or in 2 trading sessions, max 3 trading sessions. And I actually hit that goal a couple weeks ago. And it was great feeling to have hit 10% in one trading session. And then right after that, I accomplished another goal of taking a $500,000 account to $1 million in 12 trading sessions. That was a massive goal for me, something that I would have never even thought I could do even just a year ago. But it was because I worked out the processes of me. I'm going to focus on me, and I'm going to focus on you. That's the thing that I do when I'm trying to coach someone or help them get into alignment with themselves and into alignment with the market. Because the best thing that you can do is get in alignment with the market. The market is an algorithm, and we're going to go over that next. So let's make this simple and just go right into what we are going to go over here, what the focus is here, and then we'll get into what the market is. So the goals and the objectives of this entire training course that you would be walking with me for 6 months, we will be getting on these calls 2 times a day, or not a day, but 2 times a week. I'm getting ahead of myself there. I'm definitely not getting on a call 2 times a day with everybody. That would just get overwhelming. And that does not signify peace and alignment. So that was completely out of context. Anyway, 2 times a week. On Saturday, we get on and we discuss what we're looking at, going over the psychology, seeing what the targets for the week are, what setups are actually there and ready for us to actually take them. And then on Sunday, after the first week, you go a whole week, and then we go back on Saturday and Sunday. But on Sunday, we are going to talk about how it played out. How did the week do? What can we do to refine our process? What can we do to, make it more objective? Because the thing here is, I can help you take any strategy and make it a profitable strategy. Because the problem is not the strategy. The problem is not the market. The problem is you. So what the goals and objectives are: maximizing our ROI. So maximizing an ROI is not just about the choices made in the market. It also includes the choices made in a personal aspect of life as well. You don't want to just maximize your profits and make everything else in your life dry. If you are neglecting all the other things that are the small things that add up to be the big things, then you are making everything else drained, and it has to suck from the thing that you are giving all of your attention to, and eventually it dies out and it just fades away. So are you neglecting your family? Are you neglecting your passions? Are you neglecting yourself, your well-being, and your health? All of those things. Like, the money doesn't matter if you don't have those cornerstones of what actually is going to give you a quality life. A quality life is having a family, having people that around you that love and support you, and putting your intention and your action into that family, having your hobbies and your passions, your calling, something that you can do when you feel like doing it, when you feel called to do it, instead of it being a job. And we don't want to turn the market and us being in the market into a job. That doesn't make any sense. This is such a lucrative place where we can actually become abundant, and then take the gifts that we have inside of ourselves and the blueprints that God gave us, and really maximize those and bring them into a physical, tangible thing, and let this market that has drained so many people over all these years and become a very greedy place, we can turn it into a place that helps all of God's children thrive. And that is my main goal, is to bring all of those things out. And this is not about religion. So let's get past that. If you are someone who is being triggered by me using the word God, that is on you and not me, because I'm not speaking in a religious way. I am trying to help the people who actually know that they are here for something bigger than themselves actually get to that space. So we want to generate peace. There is nothing on earth worth selling your peace or your soul for. So to generate peace while trading, there has to be structure, there has to be rules, and there has to be order. Just like you see in the market's movement, the market has specific rules and order and functions that it follows. And you have to have those things too for you to get in alignment with it. You can't act different than it to have the same result as it. And then getting into alignment with the market requires us to get into alignment with ourselves. And any disalignment with ourselves will reflect in our results. So if we don't know who we are, we don't know what our calling is, we don't know what drains us or amplifies us in our life, then we're not going to know what actions we are taking in the market that are actually going to drain or amplify us. We won't be able to see it. There will be no depth perception to give us that data that we need to be able to say, yes, I am in alignment with it, or I am not. Most people don't have that depth perception, but a lot of people actually do. And those are the ones that I'm talking to right now. And I'm even talking to the ones that don't, that want to get there to that space. I have tons of content that I can help you with. And these one-on-one sessions are really going to flip the way that you view things right side up from upside down. And the upside down space is where they have everybody's feet in there and their heads in the sand. And that's why you don't get the results that you are wanting to get. And we're going to go over that here now. So the market operation, this is the first piece of content we're going to talk about on that list that I had already described or said to you. And the market operation, what drives the market today and how can we capitalize on it? So what drives the market today is an algorithm. Like I said, it has standards, procedures, functions, programs, all of that. It is an algorithm, and anything that is coded, I'm going to repeat this twice so that you get this in your head. Anything that is coded can be predicted. Anything that is coded can be predicted. Let's say it differently. Anything that is coded can be aligned with. Anything that is coded can be aligned with. How? How can it be aligned with? Well, because if we know that it is coded and it has specific things that it does, and it's going to repeat those things over and over again because that's how a code works, we can start to identify key points in the market that are happening over and over and over again. We're just identifying patterns. And by patterns, I don't mean the patterns that everybody else is teaching you where it's like head and shoulders and, you know, the half Batman or reverse Batman or whatever those things are. I pay attention to none of it. That's why I can't even tell you what they are right now, because I've seen it, but I don't care about it. Because the pattern that I'm looking for and trying to get my clients to look for is, what can you see the market do over and over again? How does the market react to price over and over again? How does it react to news over and over again? What are these patterns that we're seeing that are happening on a fundamental level? Those are the things that we are going to identify in the market operation. And this is how you can take any strategy out there and you can break it down into an objective space and go, okay, these are the key things that when these things happen, I know that I can get a profit off of this. And even if it goes against me, even if I'm wrong, I can take that loss and I can refine it and take away something. I can deduct something from my process so that I can now make that thing work even in that condition that it just presented to me that I was not aware of. And then when you do that, you start to collect data. And as you start to collect the data, you start to realize what you're seeing and what you're capable of in the market. Now, what is the fuel of the market? And that's what I was just talking about, the data that is collected. Now, here's the thing. There's two types of data that I have everyone focus on. One is the data that the market is fed off of, and two is the data that you collect. So the data that is collected is from those things you love so much, that you stay on so much. That's your social media. That's your search engines. That's anything that is e-commerce related, in Amazon, all of these things. Everything online is feeding data in a major API system going into the market space so that it can tell what moves you, not what moves the market, what moves you. Because if it knows what moves you, it knows how to induce you to act. And if it makes you, if it can induce you to act, it makes you impulsive. And if you are impulsive, then that means that you're going to take an action against yourself. You're going to sabotage yourself and you're going to feed it instead of it feeding you. Now we're going to reverse that, because that's not how things are supposed to be. It shouldn't be us feeding the market. The market should be feeding us. It's a very beautiful thing if we just flip things around into the right side up that they're supposed to be in. So the market data, like I said, when it induces you, it already knows what drives you to act. It already knows what color psychology. It knows all the things that they use to get you to buy your food, promote the things that they promote, get you to take the offers that are on the table, all the marketing psychology, it's all in there. They know what to do to get you to act. So therefore, if you can play things differently, if you can calm yourself down and see through what's happening instead of being so impulsive to act. Everybody is that trigger happy. I was the same way and still have to fight that impulse because it's ingrained in me from birth, just like it's ingrained in you. And it's not something that we chose. It's just something that's been presented to us our entire lives with all these marketing campaigns that get us to act against ourselves. So they do the same thing, except it's just a candlestick moving on the chart. And it's just, a different color candlestick and it's done a different way. And those things are just driving us to take these actions against ourselves. So we have to be in control of our emotions and the impulses, not only in the market, but outside of the market in our own lives. Because here's the simplest thing right here. And if you break it down to that core, you can control everything in your life, including how you act in the market. And that is your consumption. We are consumers. Now, if you can take control of your consumption, meaning what you put in your body and what you put in your mind, you are no longer a slave to the things that you have put there, because those things that you put there, all, like if it's food and you put it in your gut, it starts to either have a parasite or a bacteria or something that is controlling you. Now that thing is controlling you and controlling your impulses and making you crave things and do things that you wouldn't normally do. Same thing with your mind. You put all of these imagery and all of these things that come from the world into your mind that are useless, and they have nothing to do with raising you up, amplifying you, and getting you to a bigger picture in life so that you can have a quality life. Well, then you're going to start emulating those things on a subconscious level without you even realizing it. You can say all day long, well, I won't do it because I know better. It doesn't matter. If you feed yourself these things, you become what you feed yourself. You are what you eat on every dimensional level that there is. Okay. So you have to be the one that is feeding yourself, and you have to recognize what you are fueling the market with. What is controlling you? What is impulsing you to act in the marketplace in every level? Whether you're out at the grocery store, online shopping, looking at something, getting stuck in a TikTok video, whatever it is, you got to gain control of that. The market masks. What distracts you in the market and how can you prepare yourselves? The market has tons of masks. One of them is news. The news is a beautiful mask, and I like to align with the news because I know it's just a mask. News does two things. It either stops out the people that don't know it's a mask and are terrified to trade it because they don't know market structure and don't know the patterns and don't know the code, or it takes you directly to your take profit. Either way, those are the two things it's doing. It uses those news events to push price to the next magnetic space in the market. And by magnetic space, I mean it is coded in there that once a certain event happens in the market must go to the next space of price, and that has to happen. If you are in alignment with trend, then you are going to 100% hit your take profit every single time, and that's a guarantee. You can take that to the bank. You will, and I will repeat this, you will hit your take profit every single time if you are in alignment with trend, but you have to know what trend is for you to be in alignment with it, right? So, and you got to know what to look at. And those are things we're going to go over inside of this course. So the market wears these masks, and I'm going to look at something real quick to see if there was something that I'm missing. So the chatter, that's another one. Chatter is a mask in the market. So all the times that you see somebody put something out on Twitter, a news article comes out, a news clip comes out, everybody thinks, oh my God, the market's going to crash. They use these things as a mask to do what the algorithm already says it must do. They're not sitting there, feeding all this data and someone with a button controlling this. This is automated. You cannot tell me that a $4 to $6 trillion per day market is not automated. That's ridiculous to even have that thought. So you can prepare yourselves by, another mask, hold on, is indication, an indicator. So an indicator is telling you what has happened after it's happened. If you can start to identify what is happening while it's happening, you beat the indicator, and the mask doesn't fool you anymore, because after it's happened, it doesn't matter. That's why you can say, I have all these indicators running and this isn't working for me. Well, of course, because you are dictating your actions in the market on past data. instead of present data. So you prepare yourselves by being observant, paying attention to the patterns that I was talking about, going in every week and doing the same thing over and over and over again, collecting the data. That's how you're going to get past those masks, because they are there to fool you, induce you, make you impulsive, and make you act against yourself. All right. So what is the risk in the market? You are. The market is not risky. It's not, because it is predictable and it's coded. Therefore, we know what it must do. If you pay attention long enough, you will know what it must do. So the only risk factor in the market is you when you enter it. Because when you enter it, you are going to do things against yourself. You are going to fall for those tricks and those traps, right? And you're not going to pay attention to that. And not just in the market, you're a risk out here in reality. You're a risk to the people around you. You're a risk to yourself. Look at the behaviors that you have right now. Tell me that the things that you do are not risk. They're not risky. And I don't mean don't go have fun and don't do things with your life. I'm just saying, if you can start looking at your life from a third person point of view, like you're playing a video game, and seeing what actions you take and how they impact you, how they impact others, you can be 12 steps ahead of yourself at all times. And therefore, you already have the rules set for what things you sabotage yourself with. In life, you know that, hey, if I was addicted to something, from this day forward, you have to set a new boundary that I'm not going to go into that space that where I once was. And that space that I once was made me do this certain thing that was detrimental to my well-being. You're never going to do that again, because now you know what happens when you do that. So you set boundaries for yourself. Boundaries mean that you have to do something, not that someone else has to do something. You have to do it. So we're going to set the proper boundaries in our life and in the market to make sure that we are not sabotaging ourselves at any time. And that is how we mitigate our risk. And we have to mitigate our risk in our life for us to mitigate our risk in the market. Because if you don't have the mitigated risk, you don't have the depth perception of the risk that you are in life in general and to the world around you, you will never be able to comprehend the risk that you are in the market. So trusting your trade, what is required to build that trust? That's the data I've been talking about, the second kind of data. And that is you collecting data based on when you go in the market, you identify those patterns, you pick whatever it is that you specifically know, hey, this is my thing. This right here makes sense to me. When I see this, I know this is going to happen. And you pick that one thing, and then you go in and you execute that one thing over and over and over and over again. And you collect the data of how many times were you profitable and how many times were you not. And after a while, you'll start to see whether you log this data or not. You don't even have to, because I did not do it and I was able to see it. So whether you log the data or not, you will be able to tell that you can trust yourself, because you took those trades, you followed those rules, not just for the rules of the trade that have to happen, but the rules for yourself, those boundaries. You have to have a set of rules of boundaries for you on how you're going to act while you're in the market. And you cannot step outside of that. You have to become mechanical like a machine. You can't be all emotional, and you can't revert away from something just to stop having a loss. Get used to seeing a red number. Get used to taking a loss, because you're not going to be 100% every single time, and that's okay. You just need to be right more than you are wrong. And if you can get used to that and know that it's okay that I might take a loss this week, but this month I was in gain. I might take a loss today, but tomorrow I was in gain. I might take a loss for 2 months straight, but 3 or 6, 8 months of this year, I was in gain, right? That's what you need to focus on. And you can't trust that trade if you don't collect that data. And you can't collect that data if you don't act out the rules in alignment with the rules. You can't get in the market and then say, oh, I'm scared, I'm going to back out right now. You just sabotaged your data collection. It is now not valid. You have to stick to it robotically. The market is an algorithm. If you want to get into alignment, you have to act like an algorithm while you're in it. Now, the Enerva software that I'm having built is to identify those moments in the market. So we don't have to be so robotic, and we can just go in and set and identify that's a profitable area. I'm going to go in and wait for this. And then when it's ready, I'll take it. And this allows us to stay out of the market more than in the market, and allows us to be in our life instead of consumed into this, because it's the consumption of this that gets us addicted to it. It's the cortisol that goes through our body at a very high rate. And I could be wrong on the chemical, so you can go look that up and find it out. But it's the chemical inducement inside of our body that gives us a natural high when we take a win. And it's like coming down off of that high when we take a loss, and we can get addicted to that. So we have to gain control of ourselves, because the moment we take that loss, what happens? We want to go back and get it back. But it's okay. Take the loss, walk away, and go do your thing. Come back tomorrow with a fresh set of eyes, fresh feelings, all of that. Don't hold any grudge to the market. It's not the market's fault that you lost. It's your own fault. So why are you grudging the market? Right? So when you learn to trust yourself by collecting that proper data that is valid data, you will start to see the impact of the results that you have. And then when you get in the market, you'll go, okay, I took a loss. So what? I am statistically more profitable than I am in a loss. So I really don't care about that loss anymore. It breaks that chain that has you, what is the word for it? Waiting, expecting an outcome. You have that expectation of an outcome of a win, and you feel like if you don't win, you're a failure. Get that out of your head, because that is irrelevant. That does not matter. So when you come into this training course, you're not coming in for me to sit and just be an instructor on a whiteboard telling you everything that you need to know. That is the way that a lot of people train, and I am not that trainer. I am the trainer that's like, let's dig into the market. You're going to show me what you know on these charts. I don't care if you feel that you don't know anything. Show me something, anything at all, the smallest degree. You give me something, I give you something. So we're going to do this together, step by step. And you're going to implement every little thing that you learn. You're going to refine yourself every single week. And by the time you come out of this, you will be a profitable and consistent trader. So here's another thing: impulse and inducement. These are the traps that they set for you. Those are the ones that are waiting for us in the market. When that candle moves really fast and you feel that you're missing out, you have that fear of lack or fear of loss or fear of the FOMO fear that everybody talks about. They do that on purpose. It's just like when the sale comes out and they're like, you better get it right now. Some of us are serious. Get it right now, because like me, if I tell you get it right now, I'm not messing with you. I am serious. I'm doing this one time. I have better things to do than sit here and try to sell you on something. I'm showing you what I can help you with. If you want it, you want it. If you don't, you don't. I don't have any intention to try and be a salesperson to you. I'm showing you what I have to offer. Yes, you're going to pay me for it, because that's my time and my energy. That's the only thing you're paying me for. But anyway, these things that they do is to try and make you feel like you're missing out, just like the next iPhone that's coming out, or the next Nikes that are coming out, or the Black Friday sale, or whatever it is. These things are inducements in the market, and they are the tricks and the traps that we all fall for. So how do we stop falling for it? That's those boundaries. You have fell for them so much so already that you know what those traps are for you. And now all we have to do is construct the rules for you that are going to stop you from falling into the trap. And that's where you're going to get the patience. Developing the patience comes from the data collection, comes from the trusting your trade and waiting it out. I have sat through trades for 4 months at a time just so that I could develop my patience, because you want that instant gratification. You want it right now. You want the payout right this moment. You don't want to wait till tomorrow. You don't want to wait until next week. All of these things. The trades that I take now, they take 72 hours to complete sometimes. Sometimes it can happen in 45 minutes if I hit a news event. Sometimes it could happen in a week. It all depends on market conditions. But I have the patience to wait for that setup to play out exactly excuse me, exactly like how I analyzed it to, and trust it, and be okay if I miss it almost there and it turns around on me and goes to my stop loss because I was not in alignment with the trend. I'm okay with learning that lesson. I'm okay with going back to the drawing board and deducting a part of my process so that I can refine it and get better results. I'm okay with that. If you are scared to take that risk, you're not going to make that, you're not going to have the results that you're looking for. Scared money doesn't make money. It's a very true thing. You got to be willing to take that risk. You got to be willing to take that trade. It is a statistic that most traders with a signal service or anything else are not going to press the button to take the trade when the trade alert comes out because they're scared of it. They don't know if they can trust it. They don't want to lose their money. They don't want to take a loss. This is why it's so important that you know how to trade yourself. Why you have your own strategy, why you build your own rules so that when you get in the market, you know exactly what it is. Why not have the ability to, okay, I've built something beautiful for myself. I know exactly what I'm looking for. Now I'm going to go build a system for me, specifically for me. And you can go out and you can share that with people. But the reality is, at the end of the day, they're still going to have that, what if? What if this happens? And they're not going to take that risk as quick as you did. We can all build beautiful systems for ourselves. That would be my goal. Why not have an arsenal of people who know how to trade, have the patience, trust their trades, they are emotionally stable, they see through the veils and the illusions in the market, and they have their own software that helps them. I mean, that right there is like kingdom building for me. Yes, I'm coming out with software. Yes, you can have access to it. Yes, everybody is going to see that it's profitable, but my end goal here is to get everybody to the space of doing it for themselves. And you can align any strategy that you have with the software that I'm coming out because I simplified it to that point so that it could be universal for every strategy. And here are a few of the strategies. And I didn't list all of them. I'm just saying in general, it's trend trading strategy or scalping strategy or swing strategy. I specifically stick to the swing trading because I like to take a trade, not have to babysit it, not have to sit at my charts. I have a 4-year-old or about to be 4, who is absolutely wild, and I can't take my eye off of him without someone else watching him for me to do something like record this video or analyze a chart. I need to be able to analyze a chart with him running around me and my dog and cats and my other children and everything that's going on at the same time, and take the trade once it sets itself up and confirms itself to me, and walk away from that trade and not have to babysit it. I can't do the in and out, in and out, in and out because of the fact that I will get interrupted, sidetracked. And by the time I come back, I've lost that trade because I forgot that I was even in the market. I like to forget that I'm in the market. I don't like it to be tethered to me to the point where I am constantly focused on the market and I got to trade. I like to forget it exists. That is the beautiful feeling. It is very peaceful. So it doesn't matter what your strategy is. If you come here and you walk with me for a while and let me help you identify the things that you need to do to get yourself into a profitable position, you can position yourself for success in your own life in every dimension, not just in the market. And that's the key here. There's tons of strategies, tons of EAs, tons of education, all of this. But the thing I want to focus on is you. You're the factor here. Everything else around you is not the factor. You are. So let's focus on that. So anyway, this was just a glimpse of me, what I do, what you'll get, how we'll be, all those things. And I'll see you in the class if you are ready to really dive in and go on the deepest dive you have ever done in your life. All right. See you there, guys.